Hello and good evening Malaysia, with you once again Wafa Waleed on Nrnews Online. Let's head on to the main news. State-owned firm Petronas could acquire beleaguered oil and gas operator Sapura Energy Berhad to rescue the firm without costing taxpayer any money, ex-Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Razak said. In a live debate with political rival Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, Najib insisted that Sapura's failure would be harmful to Malaysia's economy and has already seen in market capitalisation fall from a height over 30 billion ringgit Malaysia to around 500 million ringgit Malaysia now. During the first section of the debate centred on the Sapura issues, Najib said Petronas could easily support Sapura via the takeover and sell it off later for a profit once it had been turned around. Najib said the government could guarantee any loans that Sapura took with banks for its own turnaround, and adding that the US rescue of firms such as AIG after the 2008 global financial crisis resulted in a profit of $22 billion for the Anwar disagreed with Najib, however, and maintained across all three parts of the Sapura section that no bailout or assistance should be extended until a forensic audit could be completed to determine the root cause of its financial troubles. He also rejected Najib's claim that the Petronas takeover of Sapura would not include public funds. Anwar also noted that many figures profited heavily from Sapura prior to its current troubles, noting that the Sapura Group, Tan Sri Shahriz Shamsuddin, earned over 1 billion ringgit Malaysia during his time at the firm. The federal opposition leader said the government would go broke if had to keep bailing out companies that are struggling financially. Cash-strapped Sapura Energy posted a net loss to the tune of 8.9 billion ringgit Malaysia, its highest ever, for the financial year ended January 31st, 2022, from a net loss of 160.87 million ringgit Malaysia for the prior financial year, business paper The Age reported. Sapura Energy said it is now undertaking a massive debt restructuring involving banks, vendors and contractors. Najib suggested the Bumiputra community could face the impact if Sapura Energy goes bust. Amanah Saham Bumiputra holders lost 4 billion ringgit Malaysia and 10,000 employees would lose their jobs. After Sapura's latest losses were published, Najib urged the government to protect the company from bankruptcy. On to the next news. Despite economic growth rebounding in the first quarter of 2022, Malaysia is exposed to a number of downside risks in the near term, particularly with China being its largest export market, accounting for 15% of total exports. It says that country's export sector is vulnerable to impact of China's economic slowdown. Malaysia also faced some transmission effects from the Russia-Ukraine war, although direct exports to Russia are very low. A more significant vulnerability is from the negative economic shock of the Russia-Ukraine war on the economies of Western Europe, since the EU accounts for 8.4% of Malaysia merchandise exports. However, higher world oil and gas prices as a result of the Russia-Ukraine war are also boosting Malaysia energy exports and contributing to higher fiscal revenues. Malaysia is also benefiting from higher palm oil prices due to disruption to world edible oil markets, including Ukrainian export of sunflower oil. Rajiv noted that Malaysia is also benefiting from its large E&E export industry due to very strong global demand for electronics equipment. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the pace of digital transformation with the global shift to working remotely, boosting demand for electronic devices such as computers, printers and mobile phones. In addition, the easing of lockdowns in many countries has also triggered rebound in consumer spending, helping the boost demand for a wide range of consumer electronics. The medium-term economic outlook is also supportive of Malaysia's electronic industry. The outlook for electronics demand is underpinned by major technology developments, including 5G rollout for the next 5 years, which will drive demand for 5G mobile phones. Demand for industrial electronics is also expected to grow rapidly over the medium term, helped by Industry 4 as industrial automation and the Internet of Things boost rapid growth in demand for industrial electronics, Rajiv said. He said Malaysia's competitiveness as a global electronic hub was highlighted by Intel's decision to invest $7 billion in a new semiconductor packaging plant in Penang, which is estimated to be completed by 2024. The Malaysian economy continues to recover from the protracted impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, with gross domestic product in the first quarter of 2022 up 5% year-on-year. Easing of COVID-19 restriction during early 2022 helped underpin a recovery in private consumption, while strong external demand supported buoyant growth in exports. Despite the upturn in world commodity prices due to Russia-Ukraine war, Malaysia's CPI inflation pressure remained contained, with the March CPI reading up only 2.2% year-on-year, while core CPI inflation rose by 2% year-on-year. On to the next news. The government will roll out special quotas for serving and retired members of the armed forces with all housing projects developed by the Housing and Local Government Ministry. Senior Defence Ministry Datuk Sri Hishamuddin Hussein said the Defence Ministry will also build 13 new units for selected armed forces veterans and upgrade another 70 existing units under the House Blueprint 3.0. Hishamuddin said the Blueprint 3.0 will focus on 3 key objectives: construction, maintenance and ownerships, and also 4 major programs will be implemented under this framework. The first program is the construction of 12,733 Rumah Keluarga Malaysia Angkatan Tentera in 5 phases between 2023 and 2030. Each houses will be designed according to the latest specification and will be fully furnished, and the residential area will also include other facilities such as playgrounds, surround, multipurpose hall and sports centre. The second program will also focus on upgrading existing RKM80 houses from 2 units to single unit by expanding the house size to include more bedrooms and bathrooms. The third program will aim to boost ownership of affordable homes as more houses will be built under the Satu Anggota Satu Rumah initiative. This includes 3,500 units that are currently under construction at the Sungai Besi Army Camp, 970 units at the Rebounding Army Camp, and between 2023 to 2025, and 6,400 units at the Genting Kelang Camp between 2028 and 2034. During the pre-launch, Hishamuddin also witnessed the signing ceremony by recipient of SASA homes at the Sungai Besi military camp. The residential area named Residency Satria will comprise 5 apartment blocks with 3,500 units. The construction process is stated to be completed by 2025. Upon completion, Residency Satria will become home to 2,100 members of the armed forces, 900 veterans and 500 staff from the Defence Ministry. At present, 10,000 people have been put on the waiting list. This residential complex will also house 14 shop lots that will be available to veteran entrepreneurs only, he said. On to the next news. The group of 7 industrialist nations will agree on more than 18 billion euro in aid for Ukraine to guarantee the short-term finance on the government in Kyiv, according to German Finance Ministry Christian Lindner. We have to guarantee the capability of Ukraine to defend itself, so we are here fundraising to secure the liquidity of the Ukrainian government. It appears that there will be more than 80 billion euro we can raise to support Ukrainian in this crucial historical moment, said Mr. Lindner. The cash includes 7.5 billion US dollars committed by the US and money from the European Union, adding that there shouldn't be a concern of the Ukraine government to finance their state needs in coming months. The Ukrainian government has said that the country needs 4 billion to 5 billion US dollar per month in short-term funding. Will over the longer term, will it require a recovery strategy similar to the Marshall Plan for Europe after the World War II? The overall reconstruction effort will cost 600 billion US dollar, the nation's prime minister said last month. The International Monetary Fund expects Ukraine's economy to contract 35% in 2022 as a direct result of the war. I think it's a very good signal that the G7 nations are standing shoulder to shoulder with Ukrainian, because they are not only defending themselves, they are defending our values, Mr. Lindner told Bloomberg. We are standing ready to observe the situation, but I think at the moment we made very important progress of guaranteeing the liquidity of Ukraine. G7 leaders will gather in Bavaria, Germany at the end of June, where a bigger aid package is due to be decided. For latest news update, find us at www.nrchanneltv.com.my. That is all from us on NR News Online. Take care and stay safe, Malaysia. I'm Wafa Waleed. Thank you and good night.